Alright, today on Kaz's Garage we turn this to this in just a few little bits of work. Here we go. Alright, Tasmania's 2019. Okay, it wasn't my year. So got there Friday night, lunchtime, set up, all good. Car was running fine, sounded good. I went for a bit of a drive around, got a bit of temperature in it. It had a bit of a misfire. That cleared at about 60 degrees, so that became kind of a problem, to be perfectly honest, because you don't start a skid car at 60 degrees on the pad. So moving on, thought that was all sorted, that was all good. Lined up Friday night when my number was called, number 67, so I was a couple of hours in, and in the starting lines it was leaking fuel. My own fault completely. My fuel tank is a boat fuel tank with a -10 blank welded to it, bronze to it, with a hole drilled through it. When I did it, I didn't preheat the fitting enough, and too much heat got into the tank and cracked the tank. I tried to repair it, and it was a nightmare trying to repair. Couldn't stop the crack. So what I ended up doing was patch it with JB Weld, which is fuel safe, and it never leaked. Till I put E85 in it, and it ate through the freaking patch. So that just completely wrecked me. A mate gave me some Need-It style sealant. So I put a big, thick patch of that, like quite large, over it. And then in the morning, I went out to the Bunnings in Invermay and grabbed a tube of this other sealant, black putty epoxy that was alcohol safe, and put a huge patch of that over it. That was like an hour cure time. So we gave it like 4 because I don't want to catch on fire. So that fixed. Put E85 in it. It doesn't leak now, so that actually worked perfectly. Well, as perfectly as one can get. So get in line up, wait a couple of hours, roll up to the start line, car sounding good, it's up to about the right temperature, go to put foot on the brake and the pedal goes straight to the floor, which that's bad. There's nothing at all. I actually haven't even diagnosed it yet. I don't know whether it's blown a caliper or something else. So I wasn't going to chump and drive off, so I just sent it pretty hard in second gear. I'll cut to a bit of footage here. So yeah, it was fun, I won't lie. The car had plenty of power, and it sounded pretty cool. It was very fat in the fuel, you could hear it in the sound. It needed to be a bit leaner. I bumped the fuel pressure up a little bit to try and get rid of the misfire. Look, to be honest, the 85 thing was a good experiment. It's not gonna work. It's like chasing your tail with fuel pressure, trying to get it perfect, and although it is probably, potentially, I could find it right, I've also given myself the problem that I've now added boost to it, and it's now making way more power than the gearbox is going to take for a sustained length of time. And the car worked really well before. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to use my new Galant, all the straight panels off it. This car is actually in better condition than the other one, but the other one has straighter panels. Perfect. So I'm going to clean up all the paint, all the crap. As you can see, I've already started paint strip the roof. So I've got new guards, new bumpers. The front one's got a dent in it, so what I'm going to try and do is straighten that and make a fiberglass one. I've never done it before. Seems pretty cool. So I thought we'll do some videos on that. Why not? And yeah, I'll probably do the same for the rear, and hopefully bring the car up to be nice looking. I've got a couple other little things I want to get done on it as well to neaten it up. But the new car has all the chrome trim, so these have all been painted over like 4 or 5 times. It's much nicer. So yeah, that's pretty much where we are with that. Hopefully, it's only 39 days to round 1, and this time I'm going to send it. So I'm going to also make a fiberglass bonnet. just because GB Galant bonnets don't really exist anymore, and obviously I'm going back to my twin throttle body setup because it didn't sell. and I'll probably sell the whole charger setup complete with boost tune computer and wiring loom and everything like that for someone else. Like, it would run perfect on fuel. I know it would, but it's still on fuel. It's introducing a lot of heat. I like my car to be reliable. I'm going to get called a sook for this, but I like my car to be reliable, and it probably would be fairly reliable on 98 with that. I'd prefer it just to be I know it's going to be reliable. I know how much of a beating it will take. I know what the fail points were. We improved upon them. So I think it was kind of a cooler when it was... No, it's cooler to charge, don't won't lie. It's just I want that reliability. And yeah, so that's why I'm going back with it. It's not like it was short of power. It used to clutch kick third from the standing, and it would go fourth as well if I wanted it to. So it's not like it's short. Gets new tyres off. So yeah, so hopefully we get it all cleaned up. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with this bit. Probably make a metal flare, maybe. Not sure. The backs I'm going to pull down, and I'm probably going to put cement in the rear quarters to stop them folding up and to give it a bit of weight in the back. I think it could use a little bit more drive. But yeah, all right, that's enough of that. Enough of my rambling. Next vid, we'll get some more stuff done. All right, one of the last remaining straight GB Glamp panels. You can see on your boot lid, bonnet, front guards, and I'm pretty sure up there, scuttle, bumpers. Look at that. So the rarity of finance. So because I'm not as much of a butcher as people think I am, I really can't bring myself to cut this bonnet. So I'm making a fiberglass mold out of it right now. Hence why this side's sanded, this side isn't. And hopefully we're going to be able to just print one out, cut a hole in the center. It doesn't matter a crap. Obviously I'm going to need 4 bonnet pins rather than just the 2. Fairly minor details. All right, let's get to it. Mold in gel coat. And the finished mold. Time to get it out. Mold. Time to fill it up. Bonnet, gel coat. Coat of glass for the bonnet. Came up nice. Happy. Look at that. Okay, so those are wondering. There is 4 meters of glass, about 5-ish kilos of resin, and a kilo of gel coat. Plus a metre square of, I think it's 2 mil of this mat, core mat called. Basically, apparently that just stiffens it up a bit. My mate Zach, who's a fiberglasser, hey Zach, said to use that, just gives it a bit of extra stiffness. So now we wait for it to set for a couple of hours, and I'm going to trim the mould while the bonnet's still in it, pull the bonnet out of the mould, and hopefully looks like a bonnet. All right, onto the guards. So cherry Galant guards are not a thing. Haven't been for a long time. Anything that's this old, you're not going to get straight guards. You might, but you'll pay a bloody fortune. This is probably a good set of guards. So commonly they rust there, and they rust up here. Not sure why they rust up there, but you can see where that is there, and there. I've just cleaned the dirt and crap out of that. This one here, we're a bit further along. So what I've done is wire wheel on the grinder, up in these corners, clean it all out, both sides. Clean. I won't turn it over because it's still setting. Clean the other side. You can see the masking tape. Masked it up, like here, just to get the right size shape, then laid glass over that. So that means once I pull that off, it won't be perfect, but means from there, I put some fibre fill in it, sand it back, we've got a fairly solid base. It's probably not the right way to fix it. I don't know, I'm not a panel beater. But I'm pretty happy. Down up in there was kind of hard. I don't know if you can actually see. No, you can't, it's not light. But all behind there is all rusted out. So basically I just shoved a heap of resin and kept shoving glass up there till no more would go up there. There's not a great deal you can really do. You got to do work with what you work with. All right, moving on. Something like this. Far from perfect. Maybe perfect from afar. Nice and straight. Both top repairs are really nice. I think there's a little bit on about here somewhere. Can't really see it, but it should come up nice. Bonnet's out of the mould, ready for sanding. There's a few spots I've got to fix up on that, and cutting. If you're ever going to paint a race car, please, for the love of God, don't use frickin' house paint. So, I'm trying to get this back to some form of surface that we can put some nice-ish paint on. It's, yeah, look at that. A little different bog here. It's like the fourth going at it. It's just so thick. Have a look at this. Like, you can see the crap's everywhere. That's what I've actually collected off the roof. It's probably 3/4 kilo. You can hear how heavy it is. Stupidity. This door, Probably needs to be replaced because you can see there's a patch. Yep, there is now. Still my head in though. There's just so much paint. Who does that? I think it's the right colour choice. I've still got to weld this section in. Unfortunately, it's a bit of work, but whoa, it's looking good. Day and a half later, front section welded in. Hours and hours of sanding. Hours and hours. And many cans. Taping for prep. It's not a show car. Prep work done. Look at those beautiful, disgusting colours, but the amount of hours we put into this, I do not wish to retrace. But we're getting there. Next step, Nathan's taping it up. Say hi, Nathan.
Hello.
You meant to say hi, Nathan. You completely ruined the joke, man. Alright, so Nathan's taping it up for me, and we're going to spray some drab on it. But so happy with that outcome, considering how bad it was. There's 3 cans of spray putty and probably 100 sheets of paper. It feels like that many. That was stupid. Alright, spray time. Coat of paint 1 down. Alright, so it didn't come up particularly great. How good does that look? See how rough it was. Stoked. I think the glass bonnet is about 10 mil too far forward. As you can see, I fucked up. Happens. But that looks awesome. I'd say it's all plain at the moment. It's still in tape. Got a mate coming up to do some graphics on it. I'm in love with it. The colour, the finish. It's come up really, considering, got to keep in mind, I keep getting upset at myself because it's not as neat as I wanted it to be. But it is a 1974 model car that's been a rally car and abused its whole life. So, looks freaking awesome. "15" challenges, which are cool. These are, one set's got RE003s on it with a slightly higher profile. These are my fronts. As you can see, these ones have had a slight polish around the limbs. These ones have had none yet. Hopefully I'm going to clean these up now. I'm going to give these a polish. I've got a couple of different stages of polish now. So we sit on top of the MIG there. And hopefully we can get like nearly a mirror finish on them. But these look, it's a bit hard to tell. They're a bit dirty, but as you can see, I got the finish pretty good and it didn't take very long at all. So hopefully we can get a really nice shine on them and it'll really set the car off. Alright, polishing time. Another day spent. How good does this look? Props to my mate Jack. I will, if his page is up by now, I'll put it in the doobly-doo. Yep, AVE. Alright, so, chrome on. Look how good it looks. Chrome on drab. Just looks amazing. So I have it wired up, running. So I now have a actual factory skirt for Lance, whatever you want to call it. The front bumper, this is actually why I want to start the video now. Have a look at this. So this had a fair bit of damage here. It still does. It's never going to look perfect. I don't fucking care. I bashed it out a bit, and this is like liquid chrome paint. It's amazing. I'm absolutely shocked how well it worked. Like that stuff, you know, always kind of works, but that is really good. This Dulux stuff. Yeah, other than that, we're back to how the car was reliable. I've had 10 million questions about why I went back to NA, and simply reliability. I really want to do the whole season coming up, and that's how it is. So it's a bit, yeah, it was fun. It was really fun to build. As you can see, I've kept a couple of the charge bits. Kept the, it's a rising rate, but that doesn't actually matter. Kept the aftermarket Raceworks fuel pressure reg, which I've already played around with the pressure a little bit. Means I can tune it, because it always blew black smoke before, and Combi 6 regs are just known for dying. But yeah, I'm wrapped with the look of the car. 70s badass, happy, smirky grin. I think that looks amazing. It offsets the olive really good. It's running, runs perfect. Turns out it fouled 2 plugs at Tazinats. No big surprise. I have all the chrome trims back on this side, as you can see, all up around here. It was quite a lot of work. They're not perfect, but it looks pretty good. Trims are all nice and polished, as you can tell. They came up really nice. Like up the roof, and everything's just come together so well. I've had so many mates help out, and I'm really grateful for that. But yeah, I'm loving having this intake back on. Supercharger was cool, don't get me wrong, but I love that look out of the bonnet. It just looks badass. And done. Alright, so you can see the amount of wire removed. Out of the Anderson plug permanently. For those wondering, that's to plug in the compressor and also, I suppose the fridge if need be, but also I can plug it into my Rodeo, and while we're driving along it will charge the battery. Only lightly, but when this is pretty much charged and you know, you drive on the highway, works well. Anyway, so just need power feed in, fan, and down to the fuel pump. They both have separate earths, which I wasn't a huge fan of, but that's it. And yes, my fuel tank is a boat tank, for those who have never seen my build before. It's 22 litre, I don't know, something American. Underneath, see if we can see, hey? See just there in the centre? That falls down through a 90 into a 044. No need for a surge tank, it doesn't surge. You can drive around 5 or 6 litres in it, gets a bit sketchy, and it will surge at that, but I keep it full. Never had a problem. Filter, and it's a big ugly Borg-Warner diff. Alright, came up pretty good. And on the inside now, isolator up, fuse box, solenoid up behind the mess of a dash. It's actually a lot simpler, and it works. A fair bit to go. A bit. But look at that. Out, gave it a wash, cleaned down. It's funny, you know you're a building car guy when it takes you twice as long as you would expect to find a car wash. Then it does say hydrochloric acid, or 5 different types of degreaser. Anywho's, I love it. All the chrome came on pretty well. There's a few creases in it and all that kind of stuff, but yeah, I think that looks killer. The thing I wanted to change with this was the throttle cable setup. So it used to be this little angle plate here. This cable used to just sit against it, run the cable up, and that was fine. It never really played up, but it used to flop around and it didn't look very neat at all. So what I've done here is rated a mountain bike I had in my backyard. Unfortunately it's Sunday and I couldn't get a new cable, but this worked out benefits because this is actually your adjuster nut from your hand brakey levery thing. Not sure of the word, sorry. And this is the bellow off the actual brake line on the actual brakes. And obviously this is the cable and it's the outer I used to use. So what I've done is drilled this out a bit. So this takes through, screws on, put a little cut in here. Because the biggest problem with it was you couldn't really take the cable off. It was always permanently attached to this. And because it's a crimp on the pedal and the floor, every time you took the brake or the throttle cable off, you had to shorten it because the crimp wrecks the cable, so it won't go back through. This was just a quick kind of an idea, and as it was going, kind of evolved, and I think it came out really nice. The drag's a very dusty environment, so you get a lot of crap in your cables and that kind of stuff because it's just terrible. But this also, on top of that, looks, well, spot on comparison. But yeah, shows you don't just spend monies to make things much nicer. There we are. We're ready for round one. Probably the quietest the car has ever been. But thanks for watching, and I'll do a video on the next round. Catch you guys.
Put the hand down.